Hello, this is Games and Movies, and I will be doing my first movie review, and the movie that I will be doing is Sicario. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so first of all, I would like to say this is actually a very good movie, but first, spoiler alert, because I will be disclosing some things that happen in the movie. Okay, first, in the shootout on the bridge in the opening, I guess you could say close to the beginning of the movie, I kinda don't understand how they were able to tell, who was in the gang and who wasn't. Since there are many people who I personally thought were questionable who turned out not to be. I guess the tattoos and four people in a car, that definitely tipped someone off. But if they were gonna shoot, and also if they were gonna shoot immediately, they should have shot when they saw the gun, because that would have made more sense than trying to. I guess they were trying to keep them from shooting, but it was obvious that, but they already knew that most likely they were going to get shot at because they had their guns up before they even knew the person was wielding a gun, and they shot immediately when he tried to raise the gun at them. So I do not understand that really motive. I think it could have definitely been different. And the lady was right. Emily Blunt's character, she was right. That was kind of unprocedure. In front of all those civilians, you're gonna shoot. What if someone gets hit? Then what? That's horrible. That'd be horrible. Plus, that's causing us. Also, during the middle of the film, when they were doing the chase, when they were going to the tunnel, I don't really care for how they were kind of like throughout the whole movie. They were kind of alienating the other teammates, like the two officers who were brought in to help on the assignment. They were alienating them. They were kind of mistreating them in a way. Calling them babies and telling them and getting mad when they went to their superior officer about the problems. And that kind of that's not really good. You're in the heat of a war. Not a war, but something that could be described as a war. And you're having problems like that. That's kind of embarrassing since these are adults. Also, at the time, when Emily Blunt's character and when she was going up the tunnel, after she went to the end of the tunnel and the police officer was being held by Benicio del Toro's character, that was that was not by the books. He shot her pretty much. He could have killed her. That's just wow. This is the person you're working with. And then later in the film, he holds a gun to her and tells her to sign off on something that she knows she shouldn't sign off on because she knows it was not by the book. Wow. Wow. Truthfully, this whole movie was very good. I think it was a very good movie. I liked that it was practical. The special effects were really good. I like that instead of having blood, just all over the place, of kind of see looking fake, they had it where you see blood spatters. You see a pool of blood if it's a really bad wound. It's real. It looks like, if someone actually got shot. Instead of all the blood where you just see random flashes of shots and random blood coming out of nowhere. It was really good in that way. There were some points where I think CGI was used, like during the night vision. I think that was CGI. I'm not 100% sure, but it looked kind of off, I guess. But otherwise, it was good. There were some points where you could tell they had used green screen. Of course, they had to use that for the clouds and whatnot. Because, a little trick, the way you can tell is if the clouds are not moving. Because if they're not moving, then that means they're using CGI. Because clouds always move. Fun fact right there. Anyway, like I was saying, the end of the film. I liked it, but it was intense. Very intense. I think that was the point of the movie. I think it was very straightforward. It wasn't like trying to be something else. It was intense. It was made to be intense. It was one of those movies that would, make you think it's just a simple crime investigation thing, but instead it's really about like the corruption of government and the corrupt. I mean, police were corrupt, the state troopers were corrupt. I mean, you really couldn't tell who was the good guy. I mean, you could tell who the protagonist was, and that was Emily Blunt's character, but you couldn't really tell who was the bad guy or the good guy, since the bad guy arguably could have been anybody except Emily Blunt's character. I mean, you had the assassin who pointed a gun at her, who, by the way, she didn't kill. And that was weird. I mean, he pointed a gun at her. He almost killed her. And he has no weapon. And you can arrest him or kill him, really. You could kill him because technically he threatened you. So she could have killed him. And she doesn't. And that really, I don't know, I think that was kind of a psychological thing, but I really didn't understand that. Also, Mac, I'll be honest, that's the only character whose name I actually remember. Mac, I believe, was his name, right? The guy who was kind of behind the whole operation. He during the time when they were finished with the tunnel raid, he just like went straight crazy. Like throughout the film, he was kind of, calm, he was kind of the character that was more laughable, the relatable character kind of in a way. But then he just went off and pretty much choked her. I mean, throughout the whole film, they really didn't treat her like a comrade. They treated her like an asset. Like she was the reason that anything wrong had happened. And that's just horrible. And, this is someone who isn't used to this environment. And so, yeah. And also, what I would like to add is the end. It was a cliffhanger ending because you really don't know what happened to the girl, the lady. And I liked the movie. I liked it. I think it was good, intense, smart, realistic. I liked the fact that it wasn't, just some standard action movie where everything was as it seems. You had a good guy, bad guy, in this movie. You really couldn't tell who was the good guy or the bad guy. And it was obvious that Emily Blunt's character was the good guy. And it was obvious that there were, I guess you could say, 3 bad guys. There was the cartel, there was the assassin, and there was Mac. He was kind of an enemy too, seeing as he choked her and kind of kept her in the dark about most of the operations that were going on. But all the while, it was a good film. I'd give it a 9 out of 10 or an 8.5 out of 10. It wasn't perfect. No film is really perfect, but it was definitely good and a solid film. This is Games and Movies, and I'll see you next time.